I found out that when looking at a DevOps company, we have to take into account looking at different criteria than regular software investment, such as the number of developers following that company, and it's so when you're looking at a company in this field, what are the main criteria that you would need to see in order to really approve or decide on an investment?
Yeah, so it's funny. My background is in technology, but having built a company and then been an investor for a while, I really have started to think of from the market on in, not from like the technology on out. And so if we're looking at a space, so I talked about like the app and the API as one space, but let's talk about another space in the in DevOps, which is tools for operators, right? So like how can operators program to kind of do their job? It's just another like very interesting space. So for me, I want to understand who the ultimate buyers and budget is and work on in. And unlike I think many investors, I don't believe there's one answer. So many investors will say bottom up, like whatever. And that works for some companies, but definitely not all companies, right? And so you can have companies that are only bottom up. Take, for example, Zapier, which is like, they're just very committed to that, and you can build a great company. There's other companies which are famously just top down, and like that works too. And it also works in the DevOps space because budgets are still consolidated often under IT and central buyers. And many companies do both. So rather than presuppose that I know what the right go-to-market model is, what I do and what my team does is we look at like, okay, like, this is a DevOps tool. It provides value to one of many stakeholders. Maybe it's a developer, maybe it's a VP of engineering, maybe it's an operator, maybe it's an SRE, maybe it's compliance. And based on who those buyers are, we figure out what we think that the right go-to-market model is, and then we base our analysis based on that. So there is no one size fits all. But if we decide that, this is developers and it has to be bottom up, then we'll look at bottom up traction. If we decide that they have to have access to a real budget in order to monetize, we wait until that monetization happens. And if it's direct sales, we actually think very heavily about like, can this team actually build out like a direct sales go-to-market? So again, like the macro point to take away as you listen to this is we look at the ultimate buyer and we'll work our way back to what we measure.
Okay.